We'll just wait a few more seconds here before we get started. Some more people join us. Okay, I think we'll get started, everyone. So good morning and welcome to today's Business Support Series webinar. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Cindy Mann, Member Services Specialist here with the Halifax Chamber and your host for today's session. So we're nearing the end of a very hectic year, and although January can't bring a sweeping solution to our biggest issues of 2020, we certainly can work on our mindsets. We can respond to today's challenges while still looking to the horizon and planning for the future. Our presenter and guest speaker today is a mindset expert, Floria Agdemirmer, founder and CEO of Recognize Your Potential. I hope I pronounced your name okay, Floria. Floria has happily invested over 3 decades of studying, researching, and simplifying to implement growth mindset, mindfulness, neuroscience, and positive mindset. Floria is passionate about sharing tools and tips to practice and implement these topics in work and in life. He's a long-standing member and supporter of the Halifax Chamber, and we're so happy to have her with us today. Thank you to everyone who submitted your questions for our presenter. When we get to the Q&A section, please feel free to type any other questions into the chat box. So welcome, Floria, and thank you for joining us. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Cindy, for this fantastic opportunity. Thank you for the warm welcome. I really want to thank the whole Chamber staff for all they have done. And I've said to them many times and many others over the last year, especially, all the fantastic work you guys have done. And all I need is the Chamber bulletin and updates that keep coming. For a while, they were daily, and it kept me up to date on what I needed to know, rather than having to go and dig for information. So thank you so much for fantastic support all these years, but especially in the last year, it's been fantastic. So as you know, I'm passionate about mindset, and any day starts with a mindset conversation is a fabulous day for me, because I get to talk about something that I am so thrilled and passionate about. And mindset has become even more top of mind in the last 7-8 months, not just in Halifax or Canada, but globally, and both from an education perspective as well as business. Fortune 500, Forbes, Harvard University, Stanford, Waterloo, and the list goes on. These universities, workplaces are all focusing on growth mindset, and I'll tell you why. So thanks so much for being here, for taking time from your busy schedule. I know everybody is zooming out. There are so many opportunities, so thank you for being here. All right, without further ado, let's start, I guess. Okay, we're just going to start with what's a growth mindset, the benefits, what's in it for you, and how to actually practice this. And okay, so what does growth mindset mean to you? If you would take a moment just to type it into the chat box, so that our wonderful team here can give me, can perhaps share some of the things that you are typing in. What does a growth mindset mean to you? So, love to hear in the chat in the Q&A what this means to you. If you would please type those in, that would be great. Do we have any responses?
I'm seeing, Flora, if you can hear me, it's Cindy, keeping an open mind and being open to growth and positivity.
Okay, great. And I could hear you very well, Cindy. Anyone else who would like to share what a growth mindset is or what isn't? Sometimes when we know what isn't, it helps us to figure out. Anyone else? There are no right or wrong answers, so it's okay. And that's the whole purpose of today's conversation. It's all right not to be right all the time. Okay, we'll move forward, but feel free to type in, and yes, being open to keeping an open mind is definitely part of it, and positivity are also part of growth mindset, and there is a little bit more into it. Now, by the way, growth mindset was a term that was coined by Carol Dweck over 4 decades ago from Stanford University, and at that point, I hadn't heard of the actual phrase growth mindset. However, later on, I realized, hey, I was practicing it. I was implementing it in various aspects of my personal life, and I'll share you a story or two. All right, let's see. Okay. What is a growth mindset? And this is coming from Carol Dweck, is according to Carol Dweck, growth mindset is one's belief that our skills and talents, qualities, strength can be cultivated through effort, perseverance, keeping up with it, and not giving up with mistakes or failures seemingly, and also asking for lots of help through mentoring, coaching, and in various circumstances. Traditionally, we were told that it's in our DNA. If your IQ is 150, 175, 190, hey, you got it made. But in life, it's not so. And that's where growth mindset comes in. Growth mindset was originally designed and was of interest for education. However, since then, it's become of great interest over the last 4 decades for Fortune 500 companies and Forbes magazine, as well as Harvard Business and others have looked into it much more so. Okay, now, at the same time that Carol Dweck was coining the phrase a growth mindset, she also coined the phrase fixed mindset, that our abilities are carved in stone. Hey, my parents could never do this. No one in our family could do this, and therefore I can't either. And that kind of mentality, thinking, is really the foundation for fixed mindset, and also seeing challenges as very risky. Now, of course, that being said, risk is a continuum. There is 5% risk, there is 105% risk. So it's not a static position. However, things can become more risky, and we can also take educated risks. And that's the foundation for the insurance companies. They gauge the insurance and the level of risk, and they base the fees and the whole premise of insurance companies are based on that. So gauging risk is very important. However, seeing challenges as risky can limit our thinking. But there is more to growth mindset. First, we think that, okay, I'll just be positive and I'll be practicing growth mindset. There's a little bit more to it. Actually, in the last 5-10 years, Carol Dweck has talked about another phenomena, which is false growth mindset. Because previously, there was about 4 decades ago, people thought, okay, encourage the effort, acknowledge the effort, and then praise the effort, especially within the school system, because this was originally stated for school system, that, don't tell bad work, just say good effort. What happened as a result of it, some people were actually practicing growth mindset, but we're not sure how to teach it, how to transfer that skill or teach that skill, whereas others just thought, okay, just be nice, smile, and praise the effort, and will be growth mindset. And that's what Carol Dweck calls as false growth mindset. So it's not simply saying, oh, good effort. There is more to it, and we'll talk, and that's what we're going to do. Feel free at any point, if you have things that you want, please type in your questions. Cindy is doing a fantastic job keeping all those questions. So, in a nutshell, failure is not so much part of growth mindset, it's more of the fixed mindset. And again, growth mindset aspects are also implemented in design thinking. And McGill University has been doing a series of webinars on various aspects, including growth mindset, including design thinking, and why is it important, why leaders should be thinking and focusing on design thinking and growth mindset. But part of it is, I'm either good at this or not good at this. And whereas in growth mindset, failure is looked at as an opportunity. Okay, I figured out what doesn't work. Now I'll move on to the next. And incidentally, the guy who invented the Dyson vacuum cleaner, he built 5,226 prototypes, I believe, before the one that is now available in the market, which was 5,227. Edison, Einstein, Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, every one of these people have not been able to dunk the basket or come up with the theory and formula or building the prototype, but it is about the mindset that, hey, it's not so much the failure as I figured out what doesn't work. One more thing that doesn't work. One more thing that doesn't work. And that mentality is key, especially during this period of time. And that's why there is heightened awareness on growth mindset, on mindfulness, on mindset. And as much as this whole period has been challenging for so many, and I would not lightheartedly say that it is positive. However, one of the silver linings from my perspective has been that individuals, organizations, businesses, companies have thought more about the importance of the mindset and the importance of soft skills, that they are no longer nice to have a nice mindset, a growth mindset. It is about that it is now vital and crucial for success. Whether someone is staying at home, whether someone is having a business, someone is a professional, career, working, regardless, it's become vital. And in the next few years, it's going to become even more important. So starting, I know you guys, the fact that you guys are here is already saying that you get that. So I know you are required, so practicing it will be even more so. One of the things that is challenges help me grow. After we stay in a certain circumstance for a while, we become comfortable. But when we shift beyond the edges of comfort, then we start growing again. So it's a fantastic opportunity that at this point we are presented with. All right. So next question for you to engage in the chat or the question, wherever you think, is that how do you react to your mistakes or failure? And I'm going to seek help from wonderful Cindy again. Hopefully this wakes you up rather than putting you to sleep. Do we have any responses? How do you react to your mistakes? And that should be mistakes or failure, not of. There you go. Wow. How fortuitous that I didn't even catch this. However, I have made a very clear mistake here. Mistakes of failure? No, it's mistakes or failure. And I have a mistake in it. That is fantastic. Very fortuitous. And you're thinking, yeah, it's not a big mistake. Yes, thank you for that. At the same time, it is a mistake. Do we have any answers?
So Flora, we have a few. We have try to learn from them. A few people are saying trying to learn from them. And then Sika went wrong and aim to correct them moving forward.
Excellent. Fantastic. See, that's why I said you guys are already the choir. So yes, we want to acknowledge them and say, hey, that didn't work. I've spilled things all over the floor. And I have posted pictures of them because I say, hey, look, I just created a nice design in my living room, on my living room floor with this huge spill. So humor goes a long way. And even when mistakes or failure is little bit has more at stake, seemingly what we call in business or professional life, in life we call there is more at stake. It's that again we want to remind ourselves that hey, it's all right. I didn't fail. I just know that this idea right now, the way I did it, this way at this point, didn't work. It could work in 6 months' time. But at this point, I'm just going to move on. How could I improve it? So how we react to mistakes or failure is key. Now, it's important to remember that no one has a growth mindset in every aspect of life. One might have a growth mindset practiced more, say, if they're a painter, whereas in another aspect of life where they haven't practiced it, they may not have, they may not be practicing growth mindset or having a growth mindset as readily. So it's not that once I have a growth mindset in this level, then I'm good for every aspect in my life. It is practicing it in various aspects, various dimensions, circumstances, situations in life. One of my clients who is in IT world and developer programmer, and she when we were talking, she was saying that how she wants more challenges, but she wasn't. On the other hand, I said, what are you doing to welcome those challenges, and how are you investing in your own self? So there is more to it, and we will talk the symptoms, the symptoms, the outcomes and benefits of growth mindset. So it is one aspect is how we respond to failure, but there is again more to it. And I know some of you had said that growth mindset is being open, having an open mindset, being open to change, being positive. Absolutely. And neuroplasticity, the study of neuroplasticity and neuroscience have been focusing on how we can actually build new neural pathways, which is fabulous. So even if I did something or didn't do it as a kid, now at this point in my life, I can start and build new neural pathways. And psychologists, psychiatrists, neurologists have confirmed this beyond the shadow of doubt. My personal story was that in elementary, in school, in high school, I was not good in math. I was not good in math. And I was always like, there, never mind, math isn't for you. And you're just not good enough in math or sciences. And then as an adult, I wanted to go to Manson University, take nutrition. I didn't have math or sciences in high school at all. I had none. I actually had to go and take math grade 12 in order to qualify to get into the nutrition program. And I was so worried. I said, my goodness, I'm a mature student. I have 2 kids and they're going to see mom fail. How am I going to deal with this? And then I said, oh, but today I'm a different person. I'm no longer there. And just because I didn't do well 15 years ago, however long ago, doesn't mean I am bound by that. So it's important to remember these as we move on. Purposeful engagement is another symptom aspect of growth mindset. Now, we often focus on results. We want to jump into action and we want results right away. And purposeful engagement and also design thinking comes back to the foundation. First of all, it starts with the thoughts, with our feelings. How do we anticipate this project to be? Then with the words we use, then the action, then the results. So don't jump into action. Come back to the foundation first. And yes, okay. So some of the benefits of growth mindset are increased flexibility and adaptability. If there is a time in humankind history that we need adaptability and flexibility, is definitely now. Yes, we definitely needed it when we were fighting for our life in the wilderness with bears and tigers, but we need it now in a new way. And flexibility and adaptability is key. Often, most often, in growth mindset, those who practice in that area, whatever area they are practicing it, they will see more opportunities. They will become better problem solvers, more creative, and they achieve their goals much more so. And they will also be more open-minded. They own their attitude instead of blaming, complaining someone else and say, they did this, that's why I can't do this. And so they own their attitude much more so. They're less likely to give up. They become much more confident and feel empowered. And yes, they become enthusiastic and positive as well. So it's these are some of the symptoms. I had a lot more slides and I had to cut them down because I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this in just 1 hour. So the next one is if we knew, and I remind myself, I've seen this slide years and I have reminded myself, if I knew that how powerful our thoughts are, we would never have another negative thought. And that's why in the previous slide, thoughts were the foundation, not the result. The result is afterwards, but the foundation was the thoughts. So paying attention, and that's why I have also studied mindfulness, and incidentally, they're very parallel. Some complements, but they're also quite parallel. Now, be aware of the word try. Have you ever heard anybody say, I'm trying to go to the gym 3 times a week? What does it tell you? Are they going or are they not going? Have you ever heard anybody say, I'm trying to eat healthy? I'm trying not to eat chips. I'm trying to manage my time better. I'm trying to be on time. And the word try has very good specific meanings. However, we have used it so much in a way that was negative. Have you ever said you have had 3 invites to a party on a Saturday evening and you say, oh, I'll try to be there? Or somebody that you didn't really want to go to the party and you say, oh, I'll try to be there. And you don't go. And you say, well, I said I tried. Generally speaking, in our society, and I don't refer just in North America, I mean globally, when we say try, we really don't give it 100%. At best, we give 50%. So be cautious. If you take one thing out of this, be aware of the when, the where, how you use the word try. Because I have used the word try, and anyone who knows me knows that I have been on this path that I don't use the word try. or I am very conscious of where I use it. Now, another favorite of mine, so you already heard about Carol Dweck, whom I have studied the work for many years and practicing it, not just simply studying it, practicing it in different aspects. And say, one more place I can, let me see how I can actually do this. I had a brunch one time, and we talked about the growth mindset, and the whole time, the 3 hours that we were there together, we talked and we said, every time somebody mentioned something, and we would say, is that a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Is that a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? It became a game, and we had so much fun. And you're thinking, Gloria, is that your version of fun? Yes, it can be a very good, lots of fun. So Einstein is another favorite of mine, that we can't solve a problem with the same thinking we used when we created it. What do, in my opinion, this is what he means, is that problems, we often talk about problems, and we say, how are we going to solve the problem? How are we going to solve this problem? Whereas we talk 90%, 95% of the time about solving the problem, and we talk 5% about the solution. So more of our focus is on problem, and positive psychology tells us what we focus on, or mindfulness, both tell us when we focus on talking about the problem becomes bigger, doesn't go away. So, in light of the current circumstances, watch out how much time you are giving to COVID. Focus on all the wonderful things you are able to do, and it will change. Yes, I pay attention to say, okay, now I will go to this place, or I won't go, or that kind of thing. But it is very limited in my mental real estate. My mental real estate is very important. So growth mindset, we focus less on the problem, solution-based approach, where I have said for many years as part of my work, solution-based approach. You acknowledge the problem, but put more focus on the solution, because then we actually focusing on what we want to do. All right, I did promise you that we will discuss about some benefits. So, fixed mindset, I can't do it. I might make a mistake. I'm not good at this. This is good enough. It may not work. This is too hard. I give up. I can't make this any better. Those people over there are much better than me, and I just can't figure it out. Whereas growth mindset, we say things like, you would say things like, I'm learning how to do this. I'll do some research. I started doing podcasts. I had never done a podcast. You say, how are you going to do? I'll figure it out. I'll ask questions. I'll research. I'll go to the library and figure it out as I go. I don't have to figure out everything as before I start. So I'll figure what doesn't work. When I make a mistake, I say, oops, okay, now I figured out what doesn't work. I'll try a new way. How can I do this better? Is there areas for me to improve? So it's not that saying I didn't do a good job, it's how can I improve it? And this is where Carol Dweck was referring to that false growth mindset. It's not just simply saying, oh, good effort. It is saying, okay, yes, good effort, but where are the opportunities to improve? How can I improve this? What can I learn from this? I am practicing to improve. As I was doing podcasts, this year I haven't. I've focused more on the vlogs. But as I was doing that, I was saying, well, every week I was getting better. Couple of times I went into the studio, didn't record, and went back in and said, oh, if I already did it once, I must be able to do it again. It's a great practice. How can I improve this again? Challenges make me better. And look at what I have learned. Incidentally, if you make a list of all the things you have learned in a year, in a month, week, even one day, if you just make a list of the things you have learned in one day alone, it will be so helpful. I was speaking at a Dundee University in Scotland last week on mindfulness and growth mindset again, that how important, how crucial it is for us to make a list of the things we learn every day. Just a simple list. And it won't take you very long, I guarantee you. All right. Now, practicing growth mindset takes time. It's not something that you get a degree. Okay, I did this growth mindset seminar or a 6-month course and I'm done. It is a journey, continuously continuing on this journey and being consistent with it. So, in order to be consistent, talk about your progress. Talking about your progress will propel you forward. And as physics, and anyone who studied physics knows that generates momentum. In this case, it's a momentum that you do want rather than the momentum you don't want. So practicing positive self-talk, celebrating your wins, no matter how small or big. And in another meeting that I was at yesterday with a client, another client in Scotland, and he was saying, and who is suffering from, not suffering, pardon me, who has ADHD, however, says he is not a victim and he turns it into opportunities. And he said, we never know how big our wins are, and the impact is we don't really know the impact. So keep these in mind so that it is simple. Now, again, going back to what doesn't work. We figured out what doesn't work. Now, focus on what you are learning and what you can do. And given the current circumstances, again, give less airtime, give less your mindset, your mental real estate to what you cannot do, because that is only going to disempower you rather than empower you, whether it is in business or life. And right now, there is heightened awareness, conversations, need for leaders to practice this in their own leadership with their team, in their business, professionals, individuals, or whether those who are staying at home. Regardless, this is key. Mindset is key and vital for our success and well-being as well. Now, so a challenge Always focusing on what you can change to change your outcome. All right. So, can I just change and just say we don't have COVID, or can I instantaneously take it away? No. Can I not be aware of the changes that happen daily in our society, of whether we go to a restaurant or hair salon or this, or go to the gym, or go to the office, or work from home, or number of these things, or have conferences and events? No, but our ability to change and adapt is key. Now, going back to the challenge I mentioned, that to make a list of the things you have learned. The flip side of that is going 24 hours without complaining. Without complaining. That includes the weather. That includes the traffic, all of these things. And it's just, make it a fun game for yourself. Have fun with it. That's what I do. I just have fun with these things. I say, all right, I'll wake up today. I'm going to look for the things I like. Or at the end of the night, I do make a list and say, wow, I learned this, I learned this. And I learned that I can walk in the snow. I learned whatever. And it's always so much more fun. Don't make it arduous or hard work or effort. Make it fun. All right, we're almost there. Yes, we are. Okay. Now, the current uncertainties and changes, challenges, mindset, mindset, mindset. And more and more research does show the importance of mindset, growth mindset, design thinking in successful businesses, companies, organizations, and individuals. And Future of Work, which is a group that I have been involved with, it's modeled based on Stanford University, but in Canada, Waterloo University has been spearheading that, and more companies look towards individuals who are practicing this mindset, ongoing learning when they want to hire. How are they investing? And going back to my client, when she started, at first she was saying, well, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to study after my job is finished. I want to just go. And I said, yes, great. I'm not saying don't go, but how are you investing in yourself? And within a very short period of time, couple of months, she changed her attitude. She started taking charge of her own learning. And within a couple of months, she had 4 interviews for a much better job. And it's just recently, and she's in Calgary. And 1st of October, she picked one of those offers, and she's very happy with it. And she practiced it, and she would say, do you mean that's growth mindset or fixed mindset? And it was constant going. So whether I'm doing training, which I do online, even more so now, or one-on-one coaching, it's all about mindset. And I combine growth mindset, mindfulness, positive psychology, whether I'm talking with leaders or whether I'm talking about communication, whether I'm talking about diversity and inclusion. Again, inclusion is a mindset. It's not just a simple act or a checkbox, it's a mindset. So I will leave this up here for you for a moment. If you have any questions, even after our conversation today, please feel free to contact me. I love hearing from you. If you have questions, you want to have more conversations that is specific to you, your organization, your business, or your career, happy to do so. And wow, we are at 9:46. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me, Floria?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you for a great presentation. So a few questions that we have, and a reminder to all panelists, if you do have any questions, then you can type them in the Q&A box. But to start you off, Floria, here's one. How can I support my team in shifting their mindsets?
Okay. First, we want to practice it for ourselves, because it isn't me picking up the stick and telling somebody else, you should do this. Don't do as I do as I say. It is practicing it for myself first, and that's what I started many years ago. I wanted to practice it for myself. I wanted to prove it to me that it works. And then gradually other people were asking, well, how are you doing this? How is it that you can do this? How come you are not put off by this mistake, this failure, or whatever it is? How can you maintain this enthusiasm? Because then it was actually becoming, and sometimes I do change the topic when somebody is talking about a whole lot of things that, oh, I don't like this, or I don't like this, and then I say, okay, now can we, you've said something that you don't like. Tell me about some of the things you do like about this particular person, about this particular circumstance. Tell me what are some of the silver linings. So I sometimes divert it, and sometimes I bring an idea and say, have you thought about this? So those are some of the simple ways that we can be the change we want to see, rather than beating other people over the head to say, hey, you should change. Does that answer the question?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So here's another one. Can you recommend some exercises or tools I can use to help me build my mindset?
Okay. So the list that I mentioned, making the list of the things you learn every day. Do it for 7 days and show yourself how you feel. It's a very simple exercise every one of us can do. And it quickly turns a switch on to say, oh, I am learning these things. And investing in your own learning is really key. Always learning, looking for opportunities to learn something that I have never done before. A couple of years ago, or 5 years ago, I went on the Commons and put on skates. I had never gone skating, and fell a few times. And as I was walking back, I was jumping up and down, and it was cold day, walking down the Citadel and the Commons area, and I was just skipping, and I was saying, wow, that feels so good to go and do something I have never done before. So that enthusiasm fuels more learning, and when we learn, we become more, we say, oh my goodness, I didn't know how to do this. I know how to do a blog. I didn't know how to edit a video, or I didn't know how to edit an audio clip, and all these things, one step at a time. And each step, celebrating your progress, will propel you forward as nothing else. And in physics, it's called building that momentum.
Okay, excellent. Now, what if you get stuck in a rut with a negative mindset? How do you get out of that rut?
Anybody who has never got stuck in a negative mindset, raise their hands. We all do. We all have and do, because that's the momentum. That's the momentum. So the sooner we catch the momentum, the easier it is to stop it. So when you realize that you are stuck in, because from Einstein says we're never stuck. We're either going forward or going back. We're never stuck. So what we think, we are stuck in that negativity, and we will get stuck in that negativity. So starting small and saying, I have had clients, worked with clients with mental health. And I said, right, you got up and you made your bed, you showered, you ate breakfast. Very simple things that we take for granted can be tremendous for someone who is battling mental health and anxiety. So again, the list of the things that I have done, that I am celebrating the wins. And that's why I said yesterday, this client was saying, hey, we never know the impact of celebrating that win, even though when it seemingly is very simple. Sometimes when they say, hey, somebody says, oh, that's easy. I say, don't disregard it, celebrate it. Mm-hmm. So acknowledging our progress one step at a time. When a child starts walking, we say, yay, and falls down, we say, come on, let's get up, you know. And we don't say, well, you won't be able to walk again. Too bad for you, you're done for today. You fell this morning. We don't do that. So we want to turn some of that openness, some of that kindness to ourselves. And growth mindset generally does that. So we want to take it one step. And I say, oh, I didn't, boy, I'm really stuck here. Well, I have been here before, and I've got out of it, and I've moved on. And I'm sure there are other people who have got stuck in this kind of a mindset, but I have shown myself I can do it. I was there a while ago, however long it was. So it is reminding and speaking it out loud to yourself is really helpful, because when thoughts are between these 6 inches, they are extremely powerful. When we speak it, and that's why sometimes when we speak it, we feel silly to even say it, because we say, oh, what are they going to think? This is silly for me to say this. So speaking about your progress out loud to yourself, being your best cheerleader, is very, very helpful to turn, but you're not going to turn it overnight. Again, that turning is going to take time. The same way turning into negative took time as well.
Okay, and there's probably time for one more question here, Floria. How much growth mindset, how can a growth mindset help me right now while there's so much uncertainty in the world?
Okay, we need a couple more weeks here.
Yes, that's right.
It's about adaptability. Again, focusing on the things we can do. Instead of repeating 50 times during the day, well, I can't go to restaurants, or I can't go to the gym, or I can, it's not going to help you. Is it going to change the reality and you're going to be able to go to the restaurant, to Gahan House, which closed yesterday? No, you're not going to. But focusing, okay, opportunity for me to cook and try something else, focusing on there's so many other things that I want to do, and that helps. Adaptability is key. And that's why writing, because psychologists have proven, education psychologists have proven that when we write a list of the things that are working, we quickly feel better. When we feel empowered, is we make decisions. One of the things during this time of uncertainty is that people feel disempowered. They feel that they can't make decisions because they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We want to prepare for today and say, yes, these are some of the things I'm going to do. And also prepare for the future and investing in your own self, in some positive listening, reading, surrounding yourself. I have a weekly group on Zoom that come together and for half an hour. And all it is, what's working? What's working? Or sometimes people say, oh, I have this challenge. How can I make it work? So the whole idea is within that 30 minutes is we focus on moving forward. We focus on what we can do. We focus on celebrating wins. And each of those, they're all part of the conversation to say, hey, let's move forward collectively, individually, and invest in your own learning is really, really helpful because you will feel empowered. And anytime we feel empowered, we make decisions much more decisively and better. Do we have time for another one?
Well, you know what? Sadly, we're out of time for today.
Okay.
That hour went very quickly, but so I think I'll wrap up here. But thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. We hope you enjoyed this discussion on the power of a growth mindset. Please join us on Thursday for a webinar on how electric vehicles can drive your bottom line. Interesting. And on Thursday afternoon, we're hosting the Road to Recovery Summit. It's a free virtual event to discuss how our region can continue navigating the pandemic while supporting the Halifax business community. So head to halifaxchamber.com/events to register. And a huge thank you to Floria for today's session. This webinar was recorded and will be available to all attendees shortly on YouTube if they wish to watch them. Thank you all and enjoy your day.